In this episode, I'm going to be talking about the real things. Hi everyone and welcome back. My name is Simon, and yes, this episode will be a little bit different than the previous ones because I'm not going to teach you anything technical. So I'm not going to teach you or talk about how to operate a camera. I'm not going to tell you how to set up lights, how to use sound, or anything like that. So if you're making films just for fun, as a hobby, and you have no major hopes, you just want to learn something new to apply on your upcoming projects, well, you might as well skip this one because I don't think this one is for you. This episode is for those of you who embrace the desire of becoming a film director, of having a career as a film director. This episode might be the most important one for you so far because what I have to tell you is very, very important. What I have to tell you is this: you will face adversity. Yes, you will face adversity, and I want you to know it. I want you to know it at the beginning of your process because otherwise you might be taken by surprise. Now, I want to make sure that I do not want to discourage you. I do not want you to change your mind. I want you just to be ready, to be prepared, because it will happen, and more often than not, it will happen on a regular basis. It is a very, very tough job. It is the toughest job on earth. Not making films, but to get there, to be recognized as a filmmaker, to have money, to have support, to have people helping you and believing in you. It is very, very tough. It's a bumpy road, and you need to be very, very strong. So if you're hesitating between two jobs, and especially if you're not strong emotionally and very tenacious, I would suggest you to go and pick the other one. Making films is very, very tough. You will face adversity starting with the people around you. First, there will be your parents. They will probably be against the simple idea of you becoming a film director. And believe me, it's not because they don't love you. It's simply because they would like you to have an easier life than that. They know more than you that all the odds are against you. Then it will be your friends. Remember, your friends are your friends because of who you were when you met them. Now, if out of the blues you decide to become a film director, they will find that very strange. They will think you're a dreamer. So a lot of them will not believe in it. Not believe in your talent, but not believe in the fact that it will happen, that you will get there, because same thing, they know that all the odds are against you. They don't know anybody probably who succeeded or even tried to become a film director. So they will have a tough time believing in that, and they will take their distance, and sooner than later you will realize that there might be still your friends, but they don't call you anymore. You will face adversity there from a lot of your friends, especially if you decide that later in your life. Well, if you've known that from 7 years old and all your friends know that, you talked about that in school all the time, well, okay, it's not going to come as a surprise. So they might stay with you there, but they will doubt for sure. So you will face adversity there. You will make new friends, even if you lose your actual friends. You will make new friends making films, but most of them will not be real friends. They will be just passing by. You need to know that making films is a very solitary job. It's not what you think it is. It's not the job with parties and stars and surrounded by a lot of people, always on the red carpet and stuff like that. That is, I'm telling you, 1 out of 1,000% of the time. Making films is you write your script or you read script a lot. You spend a lot of time doing that, and you're all by yourself. In the post-production, same thing. You're in the editing room, maybe with the editor, maybe you're doing it yourself. It's a very solitary job, which could take 6 months, maybe more, when it's a feature film. And you might be, I don't know, 25 days shooting with a lot of people around you, but the rest of the time you will be all by yourself. It's a very solitary job, and you need to be strong. So it's a fact. Orson Welles used to say that making film is 1% filmmaking and 99% of hustling. And he was right. That's what it is. So don't go make films, become a film director because you want to be famous, because you want to make a lot of money. Those are not the good reasons. You need to make films because you want to tell stories. Sorry if I repeat myself, but you need to know that. Okay, you will make new friends. Now, some of them will be passing by on your project. You will not see them afterwards, or you will be working on someone else's project. You will meet them there and you will not see them afterwards. You might cross them in some film festival nearby. But it will be tough to make friends, and it will be even tougher to keep them. Now, some of them might talk in your back. Some of them might not like you. Some of them might be jealous of you. Some of them might have no specific opinion about you, but it will be very, very tough. And why people will possibly hate you or talk in your back and be jealous? Simply because if you have big hopes, higher goals than what they have, it will scare a lot of people. People will doubt, will hate you for that. And being ambitious is something which afraids a lot of people around you. So you will be very isolated with your own big dream. You need to know that. Another way you might face adversity. You might face adversity while making your own films. You might be working on a short film, 8 days of shooting. And we know that 8 days of shooting is probably 3 to 4 months of work, because you have to write your script, you have to be in production and pre-production for maybe a month, booking the location and stuff like that, getting everything ready, the gear, getting the money and stuff like that. And then you shoot your film, and then you go in post-production, again, a month, 2 months maybe, depending on the complexity of your movie. So making films, the 8 days you're there they're very important, but they're a small part of the entire process. You might be at day 6 of shooting, but which could represent 6 or 8 weeks of work, and possibly your lead actor or supporting actor might bail on you. And if it happens to you, well, your movie is falling apart, because you can't keep on going with the main character you need. That's the thing which could happen to you. And either you put your film into the garbage, or you start from scratch, or you find a way to finish your film another way, or you put it aside and you move on to the next project. But that will be adversity, and it's a very, very tough situation to deal with. You might be further ahead in your career, making your first feature film. And believe me, you will make your first feature film way further ahead than what you are expecting now. It will take many more years than what you've planned from the beginning. I thought it was going to be easy, but after 2 or 3 or 4 years into the business, I've realized how hard it was going to be. And that's why I'm talking to you about that today. You might be in 10 years in your career, ready to make your first feature film. You would have worked your entire life, or the past 10 years to that moment. You would have buy a lot of gear. You would have been writing your script for 3 years. You would have tell everybody around that you will make your first feature film this summer. You would have quit your day job. Say to them, bye-bye, I'm leaving to live my dream. So you've shut the door there, so no possibilities of going back. And the next thing you know, 1 week after that, before going into production, your best friend, which will possibly be your only partner in the whole thing, will bail on you. Again, everything will fall apart, and you will probably not be able to replace him like that. You will have to start all over again, probably postpone your film for the next year, or rethink of everything. You can also, another thing which could happen, you can lose your main producer, the only person who is giving you $50,000, and possibly the only money you have, other than a few $100s here and there. And that person can change his mind at the last minute, saying, you know what, I'm taking my money back. No, I have some other plans. Those are things you might have to deal with. That's what I call adversity. And you will face adversity. Now, what I want you to know, what will happen is not what is important. What is important is how you will deal with it. The way you will deal with it will determine of your future. So, first thing is not to panic. Do not panic. Of course, everything is stopped, everything is falling apart. You will probably have to stop everything and forget about that for the moment. But in that situation, refocus, rethink of the primary reason why you've decided to become a film director at first time. Maybe 10 years ago, maybe 4, maybe whatever. Think at what was the ignition, what was the spark which made you decide to become a film director. And it, like I told you, it needs to be a good one. It needs to be because you have something to say. You have a voice inside of you who tells you you have something to say. You want to tell a story, whatever your reason, but it has to be something close to that. Refocus on that. And if it's not there anymore, might as well quit right now, because the road will keep on being a bumpy road till the end. And there's nothing wrong with quitting, because you will look back at the past years and you will realize that most of the people you've been working with on different projects, most of them will not be there anyway. You would probably have been the strongest one because your dream was bigger than their dream. So if the spark is not there anymore, maybe you should quit. But if it is still there, what you have to do is regroup, focus on this goal, and keep on going. You will have to be tenacious. Tenacity is the biggest quality, the most important quality a filmmaker should have. And I've talked about it, episode number 1. Tenacity is very, very important. Be tenacious, because I want you to succeed. I want you to be famous. I want you to make a lot of money. Because if you succeed, I want you to come and get me to work for you if you make it before me. So I do not want to discourage you. This episode was about preventing what will happen. I want you to know how it is being a film director. And I want you to be able to face this adversity, and what you will do when it will happen will determine of your future. Thank you for watching.